You know what? I've had an epiphany, and maybe I can share a little bit with your audience. So a couple of months ago, I did a podcast, and after the show, we were talking sidebar, and Talia said, "Hey, Dave, have you ever done a firewalk for veterans?" And I said, "Specifically?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Actually, no, I haven't. Why? What do you got going on?" And she told me she had a gala. And so we started talking about it. Well, I was like, holy. And then, she went on to tell me, look, 22 a day are taking their life. That's if they leave a note. The number's more like 40 because many of them are not telling anybody.
Sure.
I'm a vet. I grew up, my biological father was a vet. The dad that raised me was a vet. And so it hit me hard. And so when I went to bed that night after agreeing to doing it, I woke up in the middle of the night with a name and an idea and a mission and a cause. I'm calling it Operation Do No Harm. So what I agreed to do, we started negotiating. They wanted me to do one in South Florida, and the municipality got in there and they screwed it all up. It's horrible, actually. I won't say the name of the city, but I'll never go back there. I can tell you that. And so some of the other podcasters that have interviewed me over the last year were also vets, and I was talking to them as well. And one of them came to me and just said, "Hey, Dave, can we do one separate of what you're doing there? Can we do it somewhere else?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, Ed. Where do you want to do it?" He goes, "I want to do it in Modesto, California." And so we scheduled it. It's booked. It's on the books for April 13th. We got about 200 vets. That's the direction I'm going now, Amber, meaning that here's who I want to help. Vets, first responders, single moms, and kids that have been bullied. And I want to work with corporate America to sponsor it and be part of it. Why does a vet come home and take their life? Well, number one, when they come home, they lose purpose. Now they're unconnected from all the people they're around. They were trained to be a killer. Now they got to come home and figure out their life. They don't get really any help with that. Now they're separated from all the people that they work together every day to keep each other alive. And depression sets in and they start to lose purpose. And what happens? And then they reach for a whatever. And the next thing you know, they're taking their own life. So what I decided to do, okay, let's bring them in a room, give them to me for a few hours, for a day.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking to them about the firewalk. And I'm going to talk rite of passage. I'm going to talk about 1,000-year-old ritual that warriors used to use. And I'm going to take you through this experience tonight if you so choose. And to do that, you're going to have to take an oath right now. You're going to have to raise your hand and promise to do no harm. So I'll take them through, an oth. Now, when military people make a commitment like that, guess what they do?
They follow through.
They follow through. Now, I got a really cool chip in AA, didn't I? I'm going to make one for them. It's going to say Operation Do No Harm.
I have goosebumps again, but now they're on my legs too. That is so amazing.
Right? I'm going to have them put this chip in their hand and do something my sponsor did to me. I want you to squeeze it. Squeeze it. Squeeze it until you can't squeeze it anymore because of the pain. And I want you to think about that pain for a minute because that's just a little tiny sample of the pain that your friends or family would suffer if you decide to take your own life. Now, I went to one of my really cool companies that I love. See that?
Yes. Okay.
Zippo. Right? Here's a lighter they make for me with my logo on it. I went to them and I said, "Zippo, would you guys like to help?" And they said, "Absolutely."
That's what I'm thinking. Corporate sponsors would probably have no problems getting behind it. And we'll definitely promote that here. They're
going to make a lighter. When my dad went to war in World War II in 1943, Zippo made lighters for many of the military. My dad got one. It's made out of brass. And he carried it with him the entire war. It was on his desk in a saucer till the day he died. And so I went to Zippo and we talked about this. And so here's what they're going to do. God, I love these guys. They're such a beautiful company. They're going to make a 1943 replica of the World War II lighter. They're going to powder coat it in black. And then they're going to laser in on the lighter Operation Do No Harm. And so those are going to be available for all the vets when they come. Now, here's something else I'm going to do. There's two other things I'd like to share if I can that's going to be very powerful about this event. I'm going to bring in the board break along with the firewalk. So the board break is a martial arts move.
Yeah.
Right? You break a board with your bare hands. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have them write something on front of the board they want to move towards. Something on the back of the board they need to move away from. I'm going to have them write anybody's name on the board, Amber, that they're in conflict with. And then to create the rite of passage, I'm going to have them write anybody's name on the board that they've lost. Create the rite of passage. We're going to take them out. We'll have board break stations. It's real simple to do. Boom. They break the board. We walk them in a circle. We bring them back. They do their firewalk while they're holding their boards. They come back. They throw the board into the fire. Now, immediately when they do the firewalk, I'm going to have them smell this. And I'm working right now with a company called doTERRA. They're out of Utah. I love these guys. They're really cool. and they're going to be supplying us the essential oils to anchor in the experience. And then I'm going to close it with what I call the Ho'oponopono heart hug. And so after they broke the board, they firewalked, they did it, it's anchored. I get everybody in a circle, and then I get them to, make eye contact with, go over to that person. I get them to make a hug heart to heart. You know what I mean by that? Instead of hugging this way, it's the opposite way. I have them close their eyes. I have them take 3 cleansing breaths. And when they go into that deep diaphragmic, the second breath, the beauty is, guess what happens? Their hearts calibrate. They start beating at the same time. So I'll do that about a half a dozen times. And then that way I've got all of them, depending on how many are there, doesn't really matter. Their hearts are beating at the same time. Take them back indoors, have a nice dinner, maybe have a dance, whatever. Maybe have some, I'd love to get Gary Sinise to an event like this, maybe get him to speak or speakers like him. It's Operation Do No Harm, and it's going to be held in Modesto, California on April 13th, 2024.